You will not know this, but I was supposed to be the first non-student speaker for the proposition. I've now been the fourth, which means that I now have to thank all the previous speakers for making my best points for me. And I find that the main reason now that I have left to be in support of the motion is that I am so tired of talking about woke culture. That's why it's gone too far, more than anything else. And I thank the other speakers for making the points for me, because it means I don't have to reiterate the point that no, free speech is not some right-wing reframing of whatever. It's the foundation of Western civilization. Upon this civilization is built and the Enlightenment values that led to it. I don't have to make the point that has been made by far better people in the past, that the only way to deal with the problem of racism is to treat people on the content of their character and nothing else. And the fact that woke culture seeks to overturn that is a new form of racism that we must all oppose. It means also I will not use this opportunity to say I told you so, as someone who spent the last 5 years warning people in the West that if we continue to erode our culture, if we continue to undermine our confidence in Western values, that our enemies like Vladimir Putin will seek to capitalize on it. I will not make any of those points tonight, at all. Instead, I am not going to talk to those of you who already agree with me, which I imagine is most of you. I'm not going to talk to you because I imagine after everything you've heard tonight, you're going to vote for the proposition. I'm going to confess I will take your vote for granted. Tonight, I am the Labour Party and you are the Red Wall. Now, I want to talk to those of you who are woke and who are open to rational argument. A small minority, I accept. Because one of the tenets of wokeness is, of course, that your feelings matter more than the truth. But I believe in you. I believe there are those of you here who are woke, who are open to rational argument, so let me make one. We are told that your generation cares more than any other about one issue in particular, and that issue is climate change. We're told that many of you suffer from climate anxiety.
So, I just want to say right off the bat, you know, he's a comedian and an entertainer, a great speaker. And what he's basically doing is that using humor to introduce his points. And instead of going after them like, you know, right away with the digs, telling all these woke students in England that are here from Cambridge and Oxford and every place else that, you know, he's against them and how they're just absolutely, you know, idiots and morons and stupid for believing, you know, in social justice warriors and social justice causes, and that they're all woke. He is deflecting in a way and sort of building up to what he wants to get to. And the crescendo basically is just building and building and building and building. And now he comes to his first point, which is that he said, we, the world, all of us older generation people are being told that you and the younger generation, that your number one, you know, cause for social justice in the world is climate change. And that's what we're being told. And now he's going to start to basically decimate that view. And let's continue.
You wish to save the planet. And for tonight, and tonight only, I will join you. I will join you in worshipping at the feet of Saint Greta of climate change. Let us all accept right here, right now, that we are living through a climate emergency and our stocks of polar bears are running extremely low.
So Saint Greta of climate change, and Greta Thunberg, remember? How dare you? How dare you? Remember her? That moron? Yep, that's who he was alluding to right there. Saint Greta of climatology, or from the Church of Climatology. Anyways, let's continue.
I join you in this view. I truly do. Now, what are we to do about this huge problem facing humanity? What can we in Britain do? We can only do one thing. You know why? This country is responsible for 2% of global carbon emissions, which means that if Britain was to sink into the sea right now, it would make absolutely no difference to the issue of climate change. You know why? Because the future of the climate is going to be decided in Asia and in Latin America by poor people who couldn't give a shit about saving the planet.
Now, folks, right there, I mean, I think that's check and mate. He basically said that in terms of climate change and what is, I guess, Great Britain or England's partake in the climate change, he says 2%. 2%, folks. And like he said, if Great Britain were to slide into the ocean, guess what? It wouldn't make an absolute freaking dent. It wouldn't matter at all. Because it's the rest of the world as well. If we're, and as he's saying, he says, just for today, I'll be on your side. I'll take your points. But be that as it may, let's take a look and see what would happen going forward, taking your points on as if they were the truth, or if that's exactly what's going to happen, right? That's basically what he's saying. Great Britain, only 2% of the problem, wouldn't make a dent if Great Britain just completely disappeared. Let's continue.
No, thank you. No, thank you. It's going to be decided by poor people in Asia and Latin America who don't care about saving the planet. You know why? Because they're poor. Because they're poor. I come from Russia, which is not a poor country, it's a middle-income country. 20% of households in Russia do not have an indoor toilet. What they have is an outdoor toilet. And I don't mean one of those nice portaloos that we get here. I don't even mean a Glastonbury portaloo. I mean a wooden shack with a hole in the ground that holds a collected fermented memory of the last 10,000 visits. How many of you are going to go home tonight and say, let's rip out our bathroom and erect a Siberian shithouse in the back garden?
That's unbelievable. A Siberian shithouse in the back of the garden. That's exactly true, folks. Who's going to do that? See, that's what happens. You get everybody out there. What do? You get kids to leave school, right? Oh, we're going to have a march today. We're going to have a parade. Everybody at 2 o'clock assemble outside. Let's just show the whole world, you know, that we're there for climate change. And what does everybody do when they get outside? Yeah, they're marching, but what are they grabbing? This, right? How is this affecting climate change? Where do you think you're getting the parts? How do you think that's affecting your carbon footprint? If it's not this, how about an iPad? And if it's wintertime and they're outside, what about the heat that's going on, okay, inside the school? If it's the air conditioning unit during spring or summertime, are they going to get rid of that? What would happen if everybody said, you know what, guess what? We're not going to have, toilets inside the schools anymore. We're going to box them in. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the porta-johns, right? The porta potties, we're going to put them outside. And not just right outside. We have to put it a half a mile down the street so the smell doesn't come back and fumigate us or whatever. And whenever you have to go to the bathroom, hey, guess what? You have to walk half a mile outside. In the heat, in the summer or springtime, in the cold, in the wintertime. Who's going to want to do that? I mean, that's what he's saying. It's easy to say these things, folks. It's easy to want them. And, to go ahead and march as much as you want. But when it boils down to it, is everybody going to get, are kids, these wokesters, are they social justice warriors, are they going to give up their cars? Their cars are going to get picked up by mommy and daddy after they're gone to their, prissy little schools? Are they going to, get rid of their motorcycles? Are they going to stop flying all of a sudden? Stop vacationing, jetting around in their jets when it's time to vacation with mommy and daddy? They're going to get rid of their iPads, their computers, ACs, heaters? Are they going to do that? Of course they're not. Anyways, let's continue.
And if you're not, why should they?
Absolutely.
120 million people in China do not have enough food. I don't mean that they don't get dessert. I mean they suffer from malnutrition. That means that their immune system is breaking down because they don't have enough food. You're not going to get them to stay poor. Imagine you're Xi Jinping, the leader of China. When you were 10 years old, there was a revolution, a cultural revolution in your country. And people came and they put your father in prison. Your mother had to denounce him. Your sister killed herself. And you, no longer enjoying the protection of your formerly powerful father, were sent to a village where you lived in a cave house. And here you are, decades later. You have clawed your way up the bloody and greasy pole of Chinese politics to be the undisputed supreme leader of the very Communist Party that destroyed your family. And you know...
That right there, folks, is hitting hard. That is hitting right at the heart of the matter. Absolutely. Like he said, he just clawed his way up the greasy pole of communist policies and dictatorship. What are you going to do if you're Xi Jinping? What are you going to do? That's his question he's asking all these woke social justice warriors here. It's easy to do that when you're in a first world country like Great Britain, where basically everybody has, the standard of living is unbelievably high compared to the rest of the world, right? It's easy when you have everything.
Oh, that the main thing you have to do to survive and to stay in power is to deliver the one thing that the people of China want: prosperity, economic growth. Where do you think climate change ranks on Xi Jinping's list of priorities? 1/3 of all children who live in extreme poverty in the world live in India.
India.
That means they are starving and dying of preventable disease. Now, about 15 months ago, my wife got pregnant. Not me, because we're old school.
That's phenomenal. Hit the gender people, folks. That's where you go. Go after the transgender community. Bingo. Check and mate. We're old school. Oh, Konstantin. Fantastic. Let's continue.
And for 9 months, we talked about what our boy would look like, what he might do when he grows up. We looked at baby scans and videos on YouTube about what the fetus looks like at 9 months and 12 months and 20 months. And eventually he was born. And he is this cute little bundle of joy. He's cuter than about 80% of puppies. Right. Now, if you said to me that I had a choice, either my son had a serious risk of starving or dying from a preventable disease in the next year, or I could press a button and he would live. He would go to school. He would bring his first girlfriend home. He'd go to university and graduate and become a woke idiot. And then he'd get a job and get married and have children and become a man. But all I have to do is press this button. And for every day of my son's life, a giant plume of CO2 is going to get released into the atmosphere. Now, you're all very young, and most of you are not parents. Let me tell you something. There is not a parent in the world who would not smash that button so hard their hand bled.
Again, how many times does this guy have to win the chessboard here? Check and mate, check and mate, check and mate. Just said, 2 choices. 1, have a disease and die within a year. Or 2, live an unbelievably beautiful life, your child. But for every day of his life, he's going to have an unbelievable amount of a CO2 imprint on the world. Which button are you going to start smashing? It's going to be that one, folks. And you can't lie to me. If you say it's the other one, you're an absolute liar. Or you're a delusional lunatic that doesn't deserve to have kids. Let's continue. Did I say any more?
You are not going to get these people to stay poor. You're not even going to get them to not want to be richer. And so, I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one thing we can do in this country to stop climate change. And that is to make scientific and technological breakthroughs that will create the clean energy that is not only clean, but also cheap. No, thank you. And the only, I want everyone to get home on time today, which is not going to happen. And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you're victims, to believe that you have no agency, to believe that what you must do to improve the world is to complain, is to protest, is to throw soup on paintings. And we on this side of the house are not on this side of the house because we do not wish to improve the world. We sit on this side of the house because we know that the way to improve the world is to work, is to create, it is to build. And the problem with woke culture is that it's trained too many young minds like yours to forget about that. Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. There you have it. I mean, he just was an absolutely unbelievable point-on speech. He literally used comedy, he used empathy, he used unbelievable, vivid, lifelike examples to bring about the story and basically say to everybody, hey, look, okay, fine, let's just take it that I'll be on your side for climate change and climate justice and all the stuff that you're saying. And like you said, points, if it's just Great Britain, 2% of the problem, Great Britain slides in the ocean, hey, we're just a minuscule part of it. What about the rest of it? And then going on to basically say that this is what's going on. It is easy to say all these things, but are you really going to do exactly what it needs to be done? And if we do it, how do we get other people to do it? And then the example of having a child and having a choice between not having a child dying or a child living for a beautiful, productive, long life, but at the same time, he's going to have an unbelievable carbon footprint. Which one are you going to choose? Of course you're going to choose the latter. And then basically bringing it back and saying to these woke social justice warriors, at least those are the ones that are willing to listen. They're willing to have the diversity of thought being expressed instead of trying to shut it down at every juncture, every single time. And that they're the only ones who are right. And if you don't go along with them, then you're a fascist. You're on the right. You're Hitler. You're all these kind of things or whatever. He basically is saying, look, you're not going to get the rest of the world to do this because they want to become like you. They want to become like Great Britain. They want to have the same standard of living. The people in China, the people in Asia, the people in India, the people around the world that are in these poor third world, fourth world, fifth world, sixth world, 10th world, 100th world countries. You're not going to get them to say, you know what, I don't want, what are you talking about? I want energy. I want prosperity. I want money. I want to climb the social ladder. I want more than just this. I want more than just burning crap in my house, burning dung in my tent. We want more. We want what you have. We want to be a first world power. That's what everybody else is wanting to do. Why do you think everybody wants to come to the West? Why is the entire world, why do most of the people in the world, why do they want to come to America? Why? Because they know once you get here, if you work hard enough, you will succeed. You have an opportunity here. You have an opportunity in democratic countries in the West. That's what it's all about. I love this speech, folks. I really, really did. I really like to do the reaction to this too as well. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you. And excuse me. Anyways, listen, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. We got so many other videos out there. Like, share, and follow us. Hit that notification bell. And you've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host today. My name is Dr. Nasir. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. See you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.